Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report, brought to you by Picasso's Pizza. Hey, I don't live in Buffalo. When I go to Buffalo, I go to Picasso's. Enjoy the show. Welcome, everybody, to the Redzone Report. It's your boy, Izzy, right here on the Built-in Buffalo YouTube, Facebook, and X pages, formerly known as Twitter, for those of you who are not in the know. Ladies and gentlemen, the Buffalo Bills have parted ways with wide receiver Stefon Diggs through means of a trade with the Houston Texans. The Bills also gave them a 6th-round pick this year and a 5th-round pick next year in return for a 2nd-round pick next year. So that, my good people, is what is going on. And this is probably going to be a shorter show today. There's a lot of stuff going on. I know people want to get off of here and go watch Caitlin Clark win herself a Final Four game, and people want to go and watch WrestleMania later. So the show's moved from 7 to 3 today. Just so there's a lot going on in the world. And your man Izzy doesn't want to take too much of your time, but he does want a little to go over some things, okay? The show probably still be about an hour and a half. Let's be real here. I'm going to do some freaking mock drafts and go over some of the players that are, on the team or were on the team and where this thing can and or should go right now. Stefon Diggs for the Buffalo Bills. Man, what a career job he did for us while he was here when it came to on the field, right? We're looking at on the field strictly. His first year he got here, came out the gates hot. 127 catches, freaking 1,535 yards, 8 touchdowns. Like all pro season, just balled out. Year 2, another 103 catches, another 1,225 yards, 10 touchdowns. So he went up in touchdowns, dropped in yards a little bit, right? 2022, 108 catches, 1,429 yards, 11 touchdowns. I mean, his progress was just there. Clearly, his best years yard-wise was his first year, but overall, 2022 was his best year, in my opinion. Just good balance of receptions, yards, touchdowns was the most he's ever had in his career. Then this past year, 107 receptions, on par with the year before, only down by 1 there, but 1,183 yards and 8 touchdowns. So the least amount of touchdowns he's had in the season as a Buffalo Bill, tied with his first year, but his yards also the least that he's had in a year. And that, my friends, brings us to the situation of today. And today, the Buffalo Bills, no longer have Stefon Diggs on the team. And I kind of want to celebrate the fact that we had him. I want to celebrate the fact that he helped in the development of our quarterback, Josh Allen. Now, we all know what happened before the trade. That morning we all got woken up to that trade. I was on vacation this whole week, right? I was on vacation this whole week, and I got woken up to that one day like, whoa, what? And then all of the different takes everybody had, were kind of in the moment, takes and in the moment feelings. They got to get their live reactions out there, right? And I don't really get to do that a lot of the times because my show's on Sunday, right? Last show that you'll see before you go back to work on Monday. A lot of times I'm the last guy responding to something or reacting to something. So I've had time to process this in my heart, in my mind, my soul, whatever you want to call it. Josh Allen and Stefon Diggs are no longer a pair. And they were an awesome pair when they were together, but they're not anymore. And to celebrate Stefon Diggs and his time here, easily one of the best wide receivers to ever suit up in the red, white, and blue of Buffalo. And salute to him for what he did for us on the field. There's a lot of people who really don't want to acknowledge that because they're still mad that he's gone and they're mad with his antics, and I get it. I was never really a social media guy like that. I'm on there, but I'm not on there. Like I'll check my Facebook at the beginning of the day. I'll go to work. I'll come home. I'll check it again, and then I won't check it again until the next day, unless I'm on Built in Buffalo's Facebook page and I'm updating, something on there, like allowing posts and stuff like that. I'll get on there and do my duties. But other than that, I'm not really on Facebook like that. I'm not really on Twitter like that. X, I'm on it for basically this and my family. And that's it. Otherwise, call me. You know what I'm saying? Just give me a call. If we're that close, give me a call. Let's see in the comments. What's up, Busy? How you doing, Junie? We got Carolina Paula. Awesome guys, LR. I'm guessing Carolina Paula is for Poala. I think I was saying that Italian. I might be wrong. See, but had not dropped the long one, and if Allen hadn't overthrown him a few times on the deep passes, he would have been close to foot. Now, Roy, this is true, but the question is did Allen overthrow him, or did he lose a step and Allen not, or was Allen no longer able to recognize his distancing with him? Two things can be true at once. I'm not sure, and I don't want to take away blame from Josh Allen because it very well could have been that Josh just was off on those throws, and a lot of stuff seemed off this whole season, Josh included. He did lead the league in interceptions, but he also led the league in touchdowns. So you take the good with the bad when you have to. I think Diggs. I think his time ran its course, and so it's basically what it is. The time ran its course for the type of guy and type of player he is. Wasn't satisfied with what he was getting back. I guess he's getting plenty of money back, and we paid him a bunch of money to not be here now. So good for him if that's how he feels. But Stefon Diggs no longer a Buffalo Bill, out the door. Now, the title of my show is "Without Diggs, Who Steps Up?" And there are two obvious names on that list. The first obvious name on that list is our first-round pick from last year, Dalton Kincaid, who had a pretty good rookie year last year. He only had, 2 touchdowns all season? However, he started off very slow, and as the season went on, Dalton Kincaid's production picked up. It picked up. Last 2 games of the season, he had 84 and 87 yards. No touchdowns in those games, but he was a first-down machine in those games. And that's really where he's going to eat for the first couple years of his career, probably, is as that first-down getter, that guy who goes out there and just consumes field and then gets you in scoring range, and then most of the time someone else is going to score, whether it's James Cook, Josh Allen himself, a wide receiver, Dawson Knox, who's very excellent in the red zone. Just Dalton Kincaid is a guy who's going to be, paramount to the Buffalo Bills' success. He's going to be a guy who we're really going to have to depend on. This is different. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm not using that. But, yeah, Dalton Kincaid in his second year should, move forward and take a step forward. The numbers he put up last year, he had 91 targets, 73 receptions, 673 yards, 2 touchdowns. His longest reception was 51 yards. That's a really good start for a tight end. A lot of times in their careers, tight ends don't really take off to year 3. Year 1, he's already starting to eat. Now, some people will try and compare him to Sam Laporta of the Detroit Lions, who had a better year, even though he was not as good a prospect coming out. Well, that's 1 year of the NFL. On a totally different team, runs a totally different offense with totally different goals and purposes from game to game. the Buffalo Bills offense is designed to go to, or was at least at the point designed to go through, Stefon Diggs. That is the offense that was designed by Ken Dorsey to begin the season. And the first few games, that's exactly what happened. We went through Diggs, and Diggs was eating in those first few games. And then later on in the season, Diggs fell off the freaking map. And he only had a couple of good games at the end of the season. At the end of the season, he had a good game against the Dolphins, no touchdowns, but he had 7 receptions on 8 targets, 87 yards. It's a pretty damn good game. But then the other games before that, 26 yards, 29 yards, 48 yards, 24 yards. Those were against the Pats, the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Chiefs. 74 yards on 6 receptions against the Eagles. But he had 11 targets in that game and only 6 catches. 27 yards against the Jets, 34 against the Broncos, 86 against the Bengals in a loss. That was awesome. Yeah. Caught 6 or 7 in that game. 9 of 12 against the Buccaneers. That was a win. 70 yards. Against the Patriots, 58 yards. Against the Giants, he had 100 yards. Against the Jags, he had 121. Against the Dolphins in the first matchup, 120 with 3 touchdowns. 3 of his touchdowns all year came in one game. Holy shoot. Come on now. That's crazy. That means that he had 5 other games with touchdowns, and the rest of them no touchdowns. That's crazy. Against the Commanders, he had 111 yards, no touchdowns. Against the Raiders, 66 yards, no touchdowns. And in week 1 against the Jets, 102 yards, 1 touchdown. Like, a lot of his, scoring and a lot of his big games were early in the season. He just didn't put up a whole lot later on. It's my younger bro, Marshall. Love you, buddy. Love you, cuzzo. He goes by Marcel, by the way, but I like to make fun of his name. Love you, bro. And give my nephew some kisses for me. And give my love to Maya. All right. Love you, buddy. All right. I've got to believe Bean is eyeing a couple of receivers in this draft, and it wouldn't surprise me if he signs another vet, i.e. DJ Chark. That's actually a name I've been thinking about all offseason, even before we signed Curtis Samuel. My only issue with him is that he's been injury prone. The thing is, we've tended to have some guys come to Buffalo who were injury prone that were able to kick that bug when they got here. Von Miller's clearly not one of them, but we've had other guys who just got injured often and came to Buffalo and just didn't get injured anymore. Maybe it's our facilities. Maybe it's, just the cold keeping that swelling down. I'm not sure, but I tell you, Buffalo could be in the market for another veteran receiver. I like DJ Chark. I wouldn't mind taking a look at Laviska Shenault if he's still out there, and then drafting 2 and then letting them fight for it, boys. Like the Joker in Dark Knight. Just snatch that pool stick in half. We're having tryouts. Right? Just bring everybody you can. But yeah, I think that's very possible, Roy. Very, very possible. All right, let's see what else we got before I jump into my next guy, because the first 2 guys are obvious. It's Dalton Kincaid and, of course, Khalil Shakir. Now, Khalil Shakir isn't as difficult to wrap your head around. Later in the season is when he came on. He's the opposite of Diggs, right? Diggs came on early and then kind of stuck around a little bit here and there and had some big games. But against Miami, last game of the year, Khalil Shakir, 105 yards, 6 targets, 6 receptions. You're going to hear this a lot throughout this whole thing, targets and receptions. All right? Started from the last game. Well, that's how ESPN has him oriented for some reason. 6 targets, 6 receptions, 105 yards against Miami. 4 targets, 4 receptions, 39 yards against New England. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 45 yards against the Chargers. 1 target, 0 receptions against the Cowboys. The Cowboys game is an anomaly because that was our James Cook game. Now, James Cook just destroyed them by himself, like Ronnie Brown did the Patriots that one year when they introduced the Wildcat or reintroduced it under the name Wildcat. It's really just like a wing tee or something, whatever. Kansas City, 1 target, 1 reception. Against Philadelphia, 3 targets, 5 receptions, 47 yards. Against the Jets, 3 targets, 4 receptions, 115 yards and a touchdown. Against Denver, 1 target, 2 touchdowns. Josh had a bad game that game. Let's be real. Against Cincinnati, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 57 yards. Against the Buccaneers, 6 targets, 6 receptions, 92 yards. Against the Patriots the first time, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 35 yards. Like he had so many games where his targets and his receptions were the same damn number. Do you know what that means? That means that Khalil Shakir is consistent. He's very consistent. I've been hearing all this offseason that they see him potentially as a number 2, right? And then we picked up Curtis Samuel. Like, oh, okay, we can put him in the slot where he belongs. Just because you're the slot does not mean you're not the number 2. Cole Beasley was a slot guy forever and a day for us, and he was a number 2. He wasn't the X. He wasn't the Y. He was the slot-specific receiver. Slot-specific guy. So what does that tell you? The slot guy could be your number 2. Travis Kelce is the number 1 in KC, and he's not even a freaking receiver. Khalil Shakir, I don't want to say anything about he can't be the number 1, he can't be the number 2, or anything like that at all. He played a lot of snaps inside and out. He is a true inside and outside guy. Go ahead and back watch his film. He plays inside and out about the same amount. The reason why it's even possible is because we had on the team this past year Hardy and we had Kincaid. So there were times where Shakir's on the outside, Kincaid's in the slot, or both in the slot because we're running 2-on-2 on each side. There's a lot of times. Yeah. I see Joshua Richardson in the comments. Yeah, I'm doing mock drafts, man. And I'm doing a couple after the show or at the end of the show. I'm doing some shit. Okay? I'm doing some shit. I'm trading up. And then I'm going to do no trades. So, yeah, I'm definitely doing a mock draft. But in my opinion, Khalil Shakir could be a number 1. We just don't know it yet. He could be a number 4. We just don't know yet. We don't have enough information. We do know that in his first year, people had a problem with drops. Then after that season, he got serious about his offseason training, went and hit up Buffalo Bills legendary wide receiver Eric Moulds, and goes to camp with Eric Moulds to learn how to be a wide receiver in the NFL. This season, Khalil Shakir's season started off. Jets game, 0 targets, 0 receptions. Vegas, 1 target, 1 reception. Washington, 1 target, 1 reception. Miami, 0 targets, or 1 target, 0 receptions. Excuse me. Jacksonville, 1-1. Giants, 1-1. When we got to the Patriots the first game, that's his first multiple target game. Okay, that's our 7th game. Is the first time this year he had multiple targets in a game, and he caught all 4 passes. He went 4 of 4, 6 of 6, 4 of 4, 1 of 2, 3 of 4, 3 of 5, 1 of 1, 0 of 1, 3 of 3, 4 of 4, 6 of 6. I don't know where people get off saying that he isn't a number 1 or a number 2. We just don't know. Like his first serious workload, the first games where they're seriously asking him to do something was week 8. It was week 8. It was 2 weeks after the bye. What up, Izzy? I had to do super chats. You know, it is what it is. $5 from Joshua Richardson. Thank you so much, sir. God bless you. And, you know, I appreciate that. I think that's like one of my first super chats. I think I've had like 1 or 2 before. I appreciate that so much. It's awesome. What up, Izzy? How would you feel if the Bills traded up to AZ for the 4th pick and drafted Marvin Harrison Jr.? Dude, if we could do that, I would do that. I don't think it's possible, but you better bet your ass I would. You better bet your ass I would. I don't see it happening, though, because they'll probably have to give up like 3 first-round picks and then probably some second-round picks. I don't know. Let's see, 8.5 yards of the catch. Brock Bowers runs a tunnel screen in Georgia offense that's unstoppable. I think it's an option that should be thought about. I don't see it happening. Brock Bowers. I like Brock Bowers. I love Brock Bowers. They just went and got Kincaid, and Dawson Knox is still in the books for a couple more years. Is it an option if he like falls to us? Sure, but then you're talking about running 3 tight end sets, or I think the wide receiver is the answer. I like Brock Bowers a lot. I really do. And if we didn't just draft Kincaid, I'd be like, yeah, sign me up. But we just drafted Kincaid, and I see big things coming from Dalton Kincaid. But I also see big things coming from Khalil Shakir. It would not surprise me if the Bills don't move up for a wide receiver, but I would love it if they did. I would love it if they did. Getting another wide receiver would be beautiful. And I don't know. I see my man Roy Collins says need a true X receiver, not another tight end. I don't know if we really need a true X. If that's the fact or not. I don't know the style of offense that Brady's intending to run. I know that Curtis Samuel's biggest year was like 860 yards in the Joe Brady offense. I know before I said it was 1,000 yards. It wasn't him. It was Chosen Anderson, and it was DJ Moore that had 1,000 yards. But he was close behind that with like 860. If I pull up Curtis Samuel, man, his numbers in Carolina were lovely with Joe Brady. If I go Curtis Samuel, who's another guy, who's the next guy on the list of guys who may need to step up. Diggs is gone, but this is his first year here, so I don't know how appropriate that would be. All right, but when he was in Carolina, it was 2020, and he had 851 yards, 3 touchdowns on 77 receptions, 97 targets that year. Like, that was their number 3 receiver. And they had Chosen Anderson go over 1,000 yards. They had DJ Moore go over 1,000 yards. They had Greg Olsen on that team. They had CMC still on that team. Like, that team was loaded with people who needed to eat, and he ate. I think he's a number 2 receiver already, right? If let's say Shakir isn't a number 2 receiver, right? You don't believe in him as number 2. That's fine. That's fine. I'll buy that. Maybe Shakir is, a number 2 / slot receiver. Curtis Samuel is a number 2 guy. You expect him to run, bubble screens. You expect him to run slants. You expect him to run sluggos on occasion. You expect him to run intermediate routes. You expect him in the slot too. I don't know if the Buffalo Bills absolutely positively need a true X guy. Because our number 1 guy this past year and our X guy, they're both gone. Gabe Davis is gone. Diggs is gone. They were our 2 outside guys, our 2 outside receivers. And towards the end of the year, they weren't doing anything for us, really. They really weren't eating like that. Shakir was. Kincaid was. James Cook was. This is going to be a very multiple target offense where Josh is going to have to start reaching the field. With Diggs gone, the training wheels are off, right? People are like, Diggs made Josh. Well, Josh also made Diggs. Before Diggs got here, he didn't have no all pros. He wasn't putting up, 127 yard catching seasons with 1,500 yards. He wasn't doing that in Minnesota. He wasn't putting up 11 touchdowns in a season. He wasn't doing that there. He did that here with Josh, though. And so, with me personally, I think that Josh Allen, his training wheels are now off. And I see you guys in the comments. Don't worry, I'm looking. My man, Bills fan, said he didn't see it happening either. But he's a real weapon, though. Talking about Brock Bowers. I like him from Bowers. Roy says Jets seem to be a spot for Bowers. It could be. Curtis Samuel is more of an offensive weapon rather than labeling him a wide receiver 3 or 4 slot. He is an offensive weapon because you'll see him come out of the backfield as well sometimes, and so that's nice to have. Roma Dunze and Brian Thomas Jr. are the targets, in my opinion. I'm not a big Brian Thomas Jr. guy. And I'll tell you why. Brian Thomas Jr., while he has all the physical talents and gifts, there have been guys who've had those physical talents and gifts, and those guys who have had those gifts have not always panned out. Right? It's not just about that. I have seen very minimal routes from the route tree of Brian Thomas Jr., and I don't know if that's because LSU just didn't run a lot of routes because Jaden Daniels was back there having me mobile and throw the ball, or if they just didn't have it in his pedigree, or if whatever the reason was, I don't have enough of a sample size of his route tree to be faithful in it at all. And so I'll get into that when I get to my mock drafts. But yeah, we'll see. I like. Let's see. The professionals have Brian Thomas Jr. at the fourth best receiver. I mean, the professionals are nice and all, and I don't want to disrespect them, right? But we're all wrong at one point in time or another, right? And I think they're wrong about this one. Like, they're wrong about a lot of stuff. They were wrong about freaking Jamarcus Russell and a bunch of other guys. It happens. They're going to be right. They're going to be wrong. This guy's supposed to be great. Turns out to be trash. This guy, 7th round pick. This is Brock Purdy. Like, it is what it is. It happens. I get that the professionals are really all over him, but they're also giving you the disclaimer. The route tree at LSU was not necessarily there. They basically tell you what I'm telling you. The physical gifts and tools are all there. But the visual confirmation that he can run the routes, not there. And so my question would be, would it be a waste of a season to have Stefon Diggs on this team while having to train up a number 1 wide receiver to be able to run the route tree? It's a lot to ask. Be right back. I blow my nose. Mute this real quick. Excuse me. Whew. Now, what receiver do you think the Bills should target? I think that there are many answers to that question, and it really depends on what the Bills are looking for in a wide receiver. I think that there are some Diggs replacement level wide receivers. And when I say that, I mean the Buffalo Bills are looking at wide receiver and saying, this guy's play style mirrors Diggs very well. If I look at Diggs' size, 6 foot 191, the one guy that jumps off the pages to me is Ladd McConkey. Inside, outside flex, just like Diggs. Diggs plays in the slot. He plays outside. He plays wherever the play calls for him to be. I think now that Diggs is gone, Ladd McConkey is a real possibility. But if we still had Diggs, right? If it was Diggs, Curtis Samuel, Khalil Shakir, I'm looking at like an A.D. Mitchell, Troy Franklin, maybe in the second round, Xavier Legette, Brian Thomas at the time, because we still have Diggs to be your number 1. He can then help train up Brian Thomas. It really depends on who's here and who's not here with the rookie. And if the rookie is being used to replace Stefon Diggs' skill set, Ladd McConkey is the guy. It really depends what the use of that spot is. What does the offense that we're going to be running require from that guy? Does it require Stefon Diggs-like tendencies? Because if it does, then that's Ladd McConkey. Is it looking for a big, tall guy? Then you're talking about Adonai Mitchell. You're talking about Xavier Legette. You're talking about Keon Coleman. It really depends on how they want this to go. I see you saying we need a field stretching wide receiver who is physical, and BTJ is the one. I understand your take on that. It's right here. I understand your take on this. But in order to get down the field in the NFL, because this isn't college anymore, this is now the NFL, all the corners are dope. You have to have some skills coming off that line. You have to be able to get open. You have to create separation. And I know in college he did that very well. This is no longer college. Plenty of guys can create separation in college, come to the NFL. and stink up the joint. I personally, on my draft board, have Adonai Mitchell over Brian Thomas Jr. because he can run the whole route tree. He catches just about everything. He has a touchdown like every game. Like in every game he played, he had a touchdown. And Quinn Ewers didn't play every game this year. I have Adonai Mitchell over Brian Thomas. I have Brian Thomas and Xavier Legette like right here. Who is more physical than BTJ? Xavier Legette is more physical. And Keon Coleman is more physical. Thing is, Keon Coleman is too slow. So, again, if we still had Stefon Diggs, Brian Thomas Jr. is my pick the whole way. Then you have the savvy veteran who can then help school up this kid. We don't have that savvy veteran anymore to help school up this kid. We have a wide receivers coach, and that's his job. But, man, that's a lot to put on a rookie wide receiver who does not have a fully developed route tree. So is Mitchell your first choice? No, he's not. If I was to do like a draft order of wide receivers, I go Marvin Harrison Jr., Rome Odunze, Malik Neighbors. Then I go Adonai Mitchell, Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr. For the Bills, though, it's different, though. Okay, so that's me looking at the whole receiver position. If I'm looking at it from the Bills' perspective, Xavier Legette may have just jumped the list at 28. If I could get up to number 3 to go get Marvin Harrison Jr., I probably would, but I don't know if I want to sacrifice the whole future. Plus, this is a very key, wide receiver-laden draft. I think the Bills are going to take at least 2 receivers in this draft. I see you, Chris. Honestly, we'll be excited for any of the 3. Look, dude. I think that there's some bigger guys, too, later in the draft. My man Lance was on last night. He was talking about a wide receiver from a small school, starts with H, and he mentioned Hofstra and a bunch of other stuff. He meant Holy Cross. And I don't know if you guys have looked at the tape. We were talking about him earlier, and I forget his name because he's a small-time prospect. But he plays big. Coker from Holy Cross. Let me see if I can find him. Jalen Coker from Holy Cross. 6'3", 213 pounds. He's originally from Sterling, Virginia. It's a small school guy, so he's going in like the 5th, 6th, 7th round, right? He's a day 3 pick. So take this with a grain of salt. But the Bills are going to get a wide receiver round 1, round 2, right? I mean, pick a name. It could be a Keon Coleman. It could be a Ricky Pearsall. It could be a Ladd McConkey. It could be Brian Thomas Jr. Could be a slew of names is there, except for the Odunze, Neighbors, and Harrison, right? So you're looking at Brian Thomas Jr., Xavier Legette, Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy, Xavier Legette, Ricky Pearsall, Rome Wilson. Like there's so many guys. Troy Franklin. There are so many dudes. But I'm telling you now, the Bills take one of these guys early in the 5th, 6th, and 7th round. Mark my word, this kid, Coker, Jalen Coker from Holy Cross, if you watch his tape, and there's even a video, Steve Smith, watching his tape, like, oh my God, if this guy went to Georgia or Alabama or something like that, wouldn't be a thing. He'd be up there, but this is just in my personal time where I've gone and watched tape or watched tape with Steve Smith, because who better to watch it with? You know, you get on YouTube, you go to his channel, and he's breaking down what he sees. Steve Smith Sr. He's one of the best wide receivers the last 20 years in the NFL. 1,500 plus yards. Let's go. Telling you, man, that kid from Holy Cross. And I see your comment, Roy. Well, bet he played against some high-level competition at Holy Cross, being sarcastic. Hey, man, you don't have to, but I'm telling you. My man Lance was trying to remember the name last night, and I got on our messages with him today, and I was like, hey, man, were you talking about the kid from Holy Cross? Because I've been looking at that guy, too. And he's like, that's exactly who it was, Coker. And then a bunch of other guys were like, yeah, Coker. I'm like, I thought it was just me. The draft is laden with wide receivers in every single area of the draft. You got the middle of the draft where you've got kid from what is it, CFU, Central Florida. Like there's a lot of dudes. It's a lot of dudes. But you know what, guys? We've got some guys in the team already. We don't have that number one guy. See, I want Brian Thomas Jr. in round 1, then Troy Franklin in round 2. If you're talking about drafting 1 and 2 overall wide receivers, I don't see that happening, but I could get behind it. So I don't see it happen, but every year we get surprised in the draft. So don't take it as me saying that's never going to happen, because after this freaking week with Diggs getting traded, I'm not saying it's never going to happen again. I should have said that after Russell Wilson got cut by the Broncos, but I didn't think that the Bills were in such dire straits to get rid of such a weapon as Stefon Diggs that they were willing to just cut ties with him and let him walk out the door. But here we are. So I'm not going to say it's never going to happen, but I'm going to say I could see a wide receiver in round 1 or round 2. It could be a big speedy guy, or it could be someone else. It could be a big body, 6'2", 215-pounder like a Xavier Legette. It could be a small guy, a 165-pounder who can run a 4.2, 140 like Xavier Worthy. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that I don't know what to expect anymore. I don't know whether we're running an offense that's more akin to our offense we've been running the last few years with Dorsey and Dable, or if we're getting an entire new revamped offense that the Carolina Panthers and the LSU Tigers ran when he was able to push out the maximum efficiency of his wide receivers, running backs, and tight ends at all those places. When he was in LSU with Joe Burrow, Thaddeus Moss, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, like the list goes on of players that were there that just ate. He was able to feed everybody. Goes to Carolina. DJ Moore, Chosen Anderson, or Robbie Anderson at the time. Curtis Samuel, Greg Olsen, Christian McCaffrey. Like, it is what it is. After wide receiver, what is the next most important position? Ooh. Oof. So I would have said defensive tackle a month ago. They've since stocked the cupboards on defensive tackles, right? And the guys that they put behind Ed Oliver and Daquan Jones are guys who fit the mold at that spot, right? We have another true 1 technique behind Daquan Jones. We have another true 3 technique behind Oliver, right? We went and brought back AJ Epinesa. We lost Leonard Floyd. I think defensive end is probably the next most important pick. Defensive end or safety. But I think safety is more center of the draft heavy. The only one that could go in the first round now, in my opinion, is Tyler Nubin. I know a lot of guys have been really high on him. I'm not as high on him as they are, but I do see him as the number 1 safety in this draft class. So, yeah. What if Bean goes defensive tackle, defensive end round 1? I wouldn't be mad at it depending on who it was. If they reach for a Terrell Troop kind of guy, I'm going to be pissed. Or a John McCargo type guy. I'm going to be pissed. But if they go and get me a Byron Murphy or a Johnny Newton, sign me up. So you take Legette or Mitchell at 28, trade up some in round 2 when it costs less to move up, and get Xavier Worthy for that speed. I like the idea of those players. I like Legette. I like Worthy. for different reasons, obviously, because one's massive, great catch radius, and the other one's the fastest player to ever be clocked in the NFL uniform. I think that if we were to get both of them, we'd have a very crowded receiver room. Because then you'd have Leggett, Worthy, Shakir, Samuel, Hollins, Shorter, Isabella. Like, you bring too many bodies in. But I think that if you bring in somebody later in the draft, like a Jalen Coker from Holy Cross or some other school, that kid from UTSA, University of Texas San Antonio, I forget his name, but he's like 6'5", 215. He's a big boy, right? If you were to go get somebody later on the draft and just let them compete and see if they stick, then they stick, But if you bring in a guy around 1 and 2, they have to play. They have to. There's no way around it. They have to play. And after the growth of Khalil Shakir from last year, I don't know if I want that. I don't know if I want somebody replacing Shakir, because I like what I've seen. Let's see. Last season, it was a good defensive line draft. That's why we got Floyd after June for a decent contract. That will be wide receivers this season. I don't think we have to draft 2, but we have to get wide receiver 1, in my opinion. I'm not mad at that take at all. I'm not. We may also have him on the team, though. I agree with this, too. If Mike Hollins can give us the production he had 2 years ago, true. And he was with Derek Carr then. He was not with Desmond Ridder. So you have to look at the quarterback and then be like, all right, yeah. See, how about defensive tackle Tavondre Sweat from Texas? I do like Tavondre Sweat. I would not be mad if they drafted him in the second round. I don't like him as a first-round prospect. I know a lot of people do like him as a first-round prospect because, as my buddy would say, the 40 time he ran at his size is equivalent to a cornerback running a 4.26. I get that, but I don't care. Don't care. He's a second-round pick to me, but somewhere between 40 and 55. The Bills want to move up and get him then. Totally for it. But at 28, it's a little too rich for my blood. If they traded back out of the first round, not mad either. Get you some capital, but Bean's not known for that, so we'll see. See, defensive tackle Oliver is our only young DT. Yep. But, I mean, there's old DTs every year. You can always find another old guy. Bean is going to draft up. Probably. For a wide receiver. Most likely, yes. I won't guarantee it, but, yeah. Need Adonai Mitchell in the first round and Jalen Polk in the third round. Well, we don't have a third round pick now, but you never know what happens. But, guys, we are going to start the mock draft. I'm going to use PFF Simulator because I've learned how to use the sliders thanks to watching TD Fins talk with the AFC East Roundtable. They did a mock draft about a week ago, and they did all 4 teams. Patriots Nation, or I forget his name. He's my Puerto Rican guy. He's on there. I keep forgetting his name. I'm terrible with it, but he's a good guy. But they did a mock draft, did all 4 teams, and let's just say the Bills draft in that was pretty awful. It was pretty bad. And it was a Wednesday because I always jump on their shows on Wednesdays. Towards the end of the show, they have their Patreon members, guys, and I support my man Dan Mitchell. And so I joined their Patreon. And so every Wednesday, I jump on there with them for a little while. I cooked TD Fins Talk this past week. But TD Fins Talk, he helped to adjust the sliders on the PFF mock draft that allowed for those guys to have a more sane mock draft. So let me go ahead and pull up their simulator. Boop. Go ahead and share the screen. Let's see. Pat's Global. That's him. Pat's Global. Nice guy. Very respectful. I like it. So The problem with PFF Simulator is you can't see who's available until you pick. So once you're picking, you can see who you've got, and then you scout a little later, and just hope that your guy doesn't go. That's basically how you got to do it. Yeah, that's the only problem with that one. The other one's the NFL Draft Buzz one. That one locks up at the end of the draft every damn time. I have to wait like 10 to 15 minutes to get my results. If I go to NFL Mock Draft Simulator, I can't go back and see who was taken prior. I can only see my previous picks. So they all have their issues, and I'm willing to live with PFFs more often. Chris Herrera right here. Let me know. My boy Pat's Global. There we go. I appreciate you jumping in there. Let me know his name. All right, get that out of there. I'm going to close that. All right, here we go. Brand. Boop. Boop. You know what? I had an easy way to do this last time. I'll be back. I'm a breakout. The Bills laptop. Remember exactly how I did this. And invite. HW. PQVC. Simulator. Give me a second, guys. I'm getting this thing ready. This is how I do it, right? I have my second computer here. But instead of using it for actual video and audio, I just present my share screen. Go back over here, add, and there it is. It sounds like you have an aquarium pump going in the background. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 aquarium pumps going in the background. Were you only able to hear it during the time where I put up my other video, or was it now too? That's the question. Like, are you hearing it all the time? All right. Now, here we go. We're going to turn the speed down. PFF versus public board. I'm going to put that in the middle. Care for positional value. Boom. It's going up. About there. Draft for needs. What about there? Randomness. Should be second from, there it is. Taking the Bills. We're doing all 7 rounds. And feel free to comment, guys. I'm checking on you guys too. Let's see. Been the whole time. Okay. Thought I recognized the sound. I used to have some myself. The silence makes it loud. That's true. The silence does make it loud. If I'm not talking, you hear everything going on in the background. But if I'm talking, it's just a sweet sound of waterfalls. Dude, I sleep so good at night with those things. Just, yeah, I love the sound of water. Anyways, we're entering the draft. Now, this is my first one. And so before the draft even starts, I am going to try and make a trade. Now, we're all going to sit and guess that it's going to be QB, wide receiver, QB for the Patriots, wide receiver most likely for the Cardinals, either Brock Bowers or Joe Alt here at the Chargers, depending. Yeah. Could be a lot of different things. But I don't see a Dunze coming off the board until 9 at the Bears. So we want to trade up to pick 9 if we can. I'll offer him 28, 2, and 2 next year. And that's enough to get us to 9, according to this here. Now, why is it enough to get us to 9? My most likely scenario is that the Bears trade up using the 2 first-round picks we give them to move back into this year's draft. That's where I see a Dunze going, but they could trade back and then take somebody later in the draft. That's not my business. I see freshwater, African cichlids, or saltwater. Mine are all freshwater. I have one South American tank with tetras. I got my convict cichlid tank, and then I have a goldfish tank, but that's all the way by the stairs. Believe it or not, that's the cleanest tank. The reason why I'm trading up now is because I think that the simulator is not going to allow me to stop in time. And if I'm the Bills, I try and move up. We'll do 2 or 3 of these, man. We don't have to take our time. We can make these fast. But I'm offering the trade to move up to 9. We get up to 9. Start the draft. Let's see what happens. Roma Dunze goes at 7. Hot damn. So how I want to look at. All right, let's go through this draft real quick then. If we're there at 9 and the Dunze is gone, well, the next most important position is defensive end or defensive tackle. We have Johnny Newton and Leatu Latu here. Yeah. All right. All right, Roy, you got me. We'll redo the freaking draft. Okay, so we're slowing it down. All 7 rounds. Bills. Halfway. Into the draft. Here we go. Okay. So slow it down some. All right, so here's the issue. Harrison Jr. goes at 3. That means that Odunze's probably off the board. Let's see. Yep, Odunze's off. Malik Neighbors is off. Wow. They went 3, 4, and 5. So it looks like a trade up not happening right now. Because 3, 4, and 5, we were never getting to 5. It's not going to happen. So now, might as well not even try and trade up. Move up. Let's see who's on the board. No wide receiver has come off after. And so that means that Troy Franklin, Xavier Legette, Ladd McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy are all still on the board. Continue to move forward. Probably up to like 2021. There's 20. Still no more wide receivers off the board. That's curious. Wide receiver could go here to the Steelers. The Eagles might be going wide receiver. Let's see. So Brian Thomas Jr. comes off at the Eagles. We have the Vikings on the board at 23. This would be the first spot where we look to trade up, probably if we don't find the ability to get up to the top 10. Let's see. Harbaugh will trade. Giants will trade. Titans will trade. Bears will trade. That's it in the top 10, in my opinion. Maybe the Cardinals because they're stupid, but why? I think number 6 is realistic. I don't think number 6 is realistic to trade up to, but I think that one or two of those wide receivers could still be there. Because I agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of trading. I think that we're going to see somebody trade up for J.J. McCarthy. We're probably going to see somebody trade out of there to get one of those second or third defensive ends. You know, you got your Jared Verses, your Leatu Latuz. There's another guy, too, from Alabama, Dallas Turner, I think it is. There's going to be a lot of guys who are like, these guys aren't top 10 guys, but they're top 15 guys. But some guys are looking for the quarterback, so let me get the hell out of here so they can get their guy. I can get some more draft capital and go get some more guys, right? That's always going to be a thing. I'd take Bowers. Seriously, if that's how it plays out, I wouldn't take Bowers. No, I'd trade back. I would then trade back. Like, all right, my guy's gone. Cool. Trade back. Get out of here. You can change the speed after you make the trade, though. That's true. I can. I mean, I can go here to settings and change it. And realistically, Buffalo waits till the team is on the clock so you know if that player is there and wouldn't be blindsided. That's true, too. But you could always trade back again. So remember that. Like, trading up doesn't mean that you're stuck there. You can always trade back later. All right, so we're here at 23. We're not on the board at 23. But if we were to try and get 23, I don't know if there's a player on the board that's really worth trading for at this point that we want. So we'll stick at 28. So yeah, Dunze would be a great wide receiver. I saw his tape last night. He's a faster Gabe Davis with Diggs' footwork and catching skills. Yeah, but he's got hands for real. He's got hands for real. Yeah, he's also a very, very, very good route runner. Like he's the jack of all trades wide receiver in that top 3. People want to draft 10 picks so bad. Why? How many players are you actually think are making this? So here's the thing. When it comes to rookies and draft picks, you never know. You never know. Look at a lot of the players on this team. Matt Milano was a 5th-round pick. Christian Benford's a 6th-round pick. Stefon Diggs was a 5th-round pick. We got him for a first, obviously. But a lot of the guys that we end up drafting that stick and play are later-round picks. It's just how it kind of goes. Like, a lot of them are later-round picks. And so I think that a lot of those guys could make this team because a lot of the players that the Bills signed to those one-year deals, not a lot of guaranteed money. You also got to fill your practice squad coffers. And there's going to be legit competition for those spots. Drafting 10 players would be super intelligent. The reason why it would be so intelligent is because this year the Bills are looking to get younger and cheaper. You're going to lose 1 or 2 guys no matter what. If you draft only 8 players, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to lose 1 or 2 of them because they didn't beat out some of your veteran talent. But if we get a guy in the 4th round, right? Let's say we get a defensive tackle in the 4th round. Let's say Fisk falls and we get Fisk. And then he beats out, was it Austin Johnson or whatever, a defensive tackle for us? Then what? We're going to keep the rookie, not the veteran, because the rookie's on contract for 4 years while the veteran is not. You got to think about more than just one layer of this idea. Like, the Bills are good at drafting late. For some reason, they just end up drawing in really good players late. Let's see. Oh, I never thought that would be something I had to see. Yep, Austin Johnson and Deshaun Williams. So if we get somebody who comes in here and can beat them out, then why not? If we trade up, you're absolutely correct. If we don't trade up, we could take more than 10. Mark my words. Mark my words. Younger and cheaper. All right. Resuming draft. Taking it to our pick. Wow. Learn from that mistake. Adonai Mitchell and Lad McConkey. Both off the board. So if I go over here, and I look for wide receivers, Troy Franklin at 39. We got the center, Jackson Powers Johnson here. Tyler Newman, safety. Man, oh man. Who wants to trade up? The Ravens want to trade up. And the Ravens will get their trade up. I think that'll make this trade a little more fair. We go from 20 to 30. We also get 93. And I'll throw in 144 to make it more fair. 160. Boom. Traded back. Dean wouldn't take 10 picks. Izzy wants 23. Dude, remember that last one I did? I got like 23 picks. That shit was 23 and me, baby. Let's go. I drafted myself in that one. Let's go. All right. So all the wide receivers worth taking are off the board right now. All right. Let's look at the wide receiver position and see where these guys are positioned. Roman Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, Keon Coleman, Jalen Polk, Xavier Legette at 63. I like Franklin. I don't love Franklin. But it looks like no one wants to trade with me, which means that I'm going to pay more on a trade than anything. Let's see. Legette is still available. He is the 63rd ranked player. A lot of work seems to have been done, and Jermaine Burton has moved up. I really do like Jermaine Burton. I keep hearing about off-the-field stuff, but no one can ever tell me what the off-the-field stuff is with Jermaine Burton. So I really do like Jermaine Burton. I might move back for him. Let's look at him real quick. Jermaine Burton. I believe he's from Riverside, California, but he went to Bama. He played at Georgia, then he transferred to Bama. 6 foot 194. Highly competitive receiver. Not afraid of any matchup and will talk trash consistently. His quickness can be devastating, especially when paired with his ability to use a variety of releases. His long speed is smooth, but appears to lack a rare final gear. However, he is still successful as a vertical receiver due to how strong he is at the catch point His change of direction, speed, and flexibility allow him to run any route. If he can keep his cool, he can be an impact slot or flanker in the NFL. That screams Stefon Diggs to me. That's what that tells me. Screams Stefon Diggs. Oh, they're updated. They're updated because they got Jermaine Burton up there. That's an update because he's been like a fourth rounder before this. Steve Smith Sr. loves Leggett though, so it would make me think. I do. Leggett is moving up my board. 1 second. All right. Steve Smith Sr. loves Leggett though, so it would make me think about him at 28. Regardless, I'm using picks to move around and still only using 8. Just your opinion. Hey, you're entitled to your opinion, buddy. I'm not against it. You know, like we can be wrong and I can still like you, or we can be opposing each other and I still like you. Right? I've been wrong before to my friends, and I'll be wrong again to them. I'm gonna see if I can't find a trade partner that will. All right, so trades. I'm gonna try and get from 60 to 45. I just got 93, man. All right. So I get 45 and 150, 60 and 93. Is what I give up. I'm offering it. What? Wow, you get 204. There we go. So we still have a first round pick at 30. And then we have pick 45 where I'm taking Xavier Leggett. Unless someone's insane and jumps to go get him. But here, I'm taking our future safety, Tyler Nubin. First pick, Tyler Nubin. And we're just hoping that Xavier Leggett falls to us, and he's gonna. Wide receiver, Xavier Leggett. I also like Jalen Polk, guys, but Xavier Leggett's the consistent guy you guys are throwing at me, so that's where we're going. The Gamecocks. Well, from this morning, yeah, you might be right. You might be right about this morning. But from last time I saw, Jermaine Burton was way down the list, and now he's up there. So it looks like they're working on it, or I don't know. I feel like we're taking too long on these mocks show already. Like, damn, 128 can't come fast enough, can it? All right. So here we sit in the 4th round. We take in a safety and a wide receiver. Staring me in the face right here, defensive lineman Leonard Taylor III from the University of Miami. 6'3", 305 pounds. Built like a supersized linebacker in the middle, 6'4", 305. best pass rush moves come from a good first step and violent hands. I like that. Okay. However, strike placement is inconsistent when he doesn't win by shooting a gap or the good first step. He can struggle to disengage from blocks. All right. Well, it was a 4th round pick, so it's to be expected. Let's see. He played very well against Boston College, Texas Tech, Clemson. Played pretty good against UNC, NC State, Georgia Tech, and Texas A&M. And his worst games were against the Seminoles, the looks like Virginia, UVA Cavaliers, and Maryland. We should draft another wide receiver here. Okay, let's see. The best wide receiver left on the board right now seems to be Malik Washington. Let's go ahead and look at the other players available. So Malik Washington, Cornelius Johnson, Marcus Rosemary Saint, or Jack Saint, Taj Washington, Isaiah Williams, Luke McCaffrey is the guy I like, but I wouldn't draft him here. I like him, but I wouldn't draft him here. My next wide receiver target would be Luke McCaffrey. 6'2", 195, yeah. That'd be who I target. He'd be your real Gabe Davis replacement, in my opinion, but again, with better hands. I like Malik Washington, but he's more of a Curtis Samuel type guy. Not what I really envision. Rebecca Joseph Perry in the comments. The ladies are in the house. Let's go. Shakir will easily replace Gabe's production. I think the balance will be committee between Kincaid, Samuel, and whoever they draft. Okay. Malik Washington is a beast. So I have been on and off of the Malik Washington train. To me, he is Curtis Samuel. He is like, but not as fast. He is not as fast. Let me pull up his numbers right here. If I remember correctly, he ran like a 4.5. Malik Washington, NFL Combine. 4.47. Okay, never mind. Oof. Audric Estime, Malik Washington. I like Malik Washington. 5'8", 191. What say you guys? I see some estimates up here. I see Malik Washington's a beast. I don't know. My favorite receiver prospect going forward is Rice, but I do like Malik Washington. Wide receiver, edge, and running back are the most, I believe. They are. They absolutely are. Let's see. We have Estime, Leonard Taylor III, Malik Washington, Mohamed Kamara is here. Braylon Allen, running back from Wisconsin, is on the board. McKinley Jackson on the board from Texas A&M. 6'2", 325. So this is a one tech here, which is what we'd be looking for to replace Daquan Jones when it's time for him to go. Leonard Taylor would be my pick. We have a lot of picks in a row here, kind of like 128, 133, 144. I might be inclined to go the 2 defensive tackles and then wide receiver after that. Just because I do like Leonard Taylor and I do like McKinley Jackson. And that would give you your 3 technique and your 1 technique. 2 young guys. That's what I'm thinking is Leonard Taylor and then McKinley Jackson. Again, a 1 technique and a 3 technique. You have 2 veterans behind your 2 starters, and then you have 2 rookies behind your 2 veterans and starters. And then you just let them go at it. Whoever wins the job wins the job. Let's see. I think that's what we're going to do. We have a lot of picks. And we could always move up and move back. A lot of time for that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take Leonard Taylor. McKinley Jackson was taken. All right, so McKinley Jackson was taken. He's off the board. So my idea, done. Audric Estime, Malik Washington on the board, along with safety Cole Bishop out of Utah. We did take one safety. We could take another. If we do take another safety, I don't see DeMar Hamlin making the team. Kamara is another 30 visit with Braylon Allen. That's actually very good. But Kamara is now gone. But Braylon Allen is there, and I like him a lot more than I like Estime. So my guys here, Cole Bishop, Malik Washington, Braylon Allen. Will Shipley from Clemson is very, very, very interesting to me, along with Kalen Carson, cornerback in Wake Forest. I've got to see some of their games, and I don't remember a ton about him other than watching him make plays. At 6 foot 195, I didn't realize he was that big. He lacks long speed. Let me see what his speed was at the combine. Kalen Carson. Let's see. I'm using both screens, baby. Combine profile. Says he lacks speed. Let's see. I'm not seeing a 40 time here, so maybe. Okay. We'll leave that alone. I don't have enough information to make an educated decision on that. What pick is this? This is pick 133. Braylon Allen is the pick here. Estime would be good here. I like Estime, but he doesn't have that breakaway speed. It's the only problem I have with Estime is that he's a 4.72 guy. 4.72, Jesus. That's way too slow. With Braylon Allen, though, let me see Braylon Allen's profile. .6'2", 245. Holy sh! Let me check his speed. Combine, tracker, running back. Where are you? Braylon Allen. Didn't run. Thanks, Braylon. Helping me out. Diggs was not fast last year. He was not. What up, Iz? What's up, Bobby? How you doing, baby? Braylon Allen is Jonathan Taylor 2.0. I have heard that. Allen for me. Also, watch Joe Marino breakdown on Cook. He's a product of the O-line. He's a good player, but having a 1B might be – I'm with you there. I'm thinking Diggs retires in 2025. I don't know. I think he goes to the Cowboys that year. All right, so we're going to go ahead and take Braylon Allen here. I'm seeing a lot more Allens than Estimes. I'm seeing 1 or 2 Estimes, but I'm seeing 3 or 4 Allens. Braylon Allen is the pick at 133. We pick again at 144. Oh, there we go. Audric Estime went at 143. All right, now on the board. Christian Boyd, defensive lineman from University of Northern Illinois, I believe it is. He's 6'4", 317. He is a one technique. Played very well. His best games came against, I don't know who these schools are. So Iowa State, I know them. That Yale, North Dakota State. We have a one tech there. Makai Wingo. This will be more recognizable. Florida State, Georgia, Mississippi State. Arkansas, Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn, Wisconsin. Played very well against most of those teams, and he's 6'1", 295, so he's another 3-tech. We have an edge rusher on the board, Nelson Caesar out of Houston. 6'3", 250. Could be a guy we look at. I'm seeing Kalen King, cornerback. Let's see, Kalen King. Kalen King out of Penn State at 144. Okay. I do like Kalen King from Penn State, especially since we don't have Rasul Douglas after this year. Although not seeing very good numbers against good competition. Against Ohio State, not very good. Pretty good against West Virginia. Decent against Illinois. Pretty good against Iowa. Pretty good against UMass. Okay against Indiana. Kind of bad against Maryland. Pretty poor against Michigan. Really good against Rutgers and really good against Michigan State. He's definitely a player to consider. Then again, when Christian Benford played in college, he didn't have the best of games against top-tier competition either, and now he's in the NFL catching interceptions over freaking Tyreek Hill, so what the hell does that mean? See, Roy Collins comes in. King is a project guy, needs a lot of coaching. Well, he's a fifth-round pick, so that's what the fifth round's for, baby. High potential, low floor, with a lot of rawness. That sounds like a fifth-rounder to me. Grayson Murphy from UCLA, though, edge rusher. Played opposite of Leatu Latu. Pretty solid numbers against teams like Utah, Colorado, who, although not great in the past, played much better this year with Deion Sanders there. Boise State. Let's see what his dimensions are. 6'3", 260, from Dallas, Texas originally. Grayson Murphy, as you may expect, has a very similar build and skill set to his twin brother, Gabriel. I don't know who that is. Both win with good hand usage and a variety of pass rush moves. Grayson, like his brother, has limited arm length and overall athleticism, explosiveness, blah, blah, blah. Grayson appears to win more with strength, whereas his brother wins more with quickness. Okay. Not a terrible assessment for a fifth-round guy. Defensive line, Logan Lee. 6'5", 291. Already got to one of those. Where are you guys thinking I'm going? We did not take two defensive tackles. I was going to take, when I went last, was it 133? I was going to take at 128 Leonard Taylor and then McKinley Jackson, but he went right after. He went like the very next pick. And then after him, I was thinking Mo Camara, but then he went after. So now we're here on the clock with two one-techs and an edge rusher on the board. Two one-techs, and three edge rushers. Nelson Caesar and Kalen King, or excuse me, Mason Smith is one that's interesting to me, LSU. 6'6", 315. This might be my guy right here. Let's see. Xavier Thomas from Clemson still available? Let's see. Will Shipley. Tyler Davis. Control F. See. Nope, he's gone. He is gone. Yeah, Xavier Thomas is gone. We need an edge. Always wide receiver, interior offensive lineman. Okay, so if we're looking at edge rushers, then It's between Nelson Caesar and Grayson Murphy. Nelson Caesar is a fundamentally sound outside linebacker. We'd be converting him over to defensive end. Most of his work has come along the defensive line, but he also played some off the ball linebacker and has played both sides on punt and kick return teams. Very interesting. He bases his pass rush profile on long arm technique that is moderately effective due to his use of leverage, his adequate quickness for club and rip moves. However, his length likely won't be something he can consistently win with in the NFL. His strength profile could also be an issue. He can generate push from bull rushes and when defending the run, but that is more due to correct leverage than natural strength, meaning that he's got good technique, but he's not naturally gifted. We still need that Saran nail replacement. Oh, there he is. I just read him to you. Also, if you get in a Saran nail replacement, we'll get him later in the draft. Yuck. So Nelson Caesar. You also said wide receiver and Ola interior offensive line. Ain't nobody near us for interior offensive line. I'm going to go ahead and take Makai Wingo. No, not him. Was it him? No, it wasn't. It was Mason Smith. Let's see. All right, Mason Smith it is. Big 3 technique from LSU. We're at 150. Edge rusher on the board, Grayson Murphy. Defensive tackle, Tyler Davis. Taj Washington, wide receivers on the board. Dallin Holker is on the board. Did we take 2 receivers already? Nope, we sure didn't. The running back, we took 2 defensive tackles. All right, who's up here? Come on, gentlemen. Help a brother out. Sean Smith was a 30 visit. Okay. All right, so if it's edge rusher we're looking for, we have a guard here. I like Zach Zinter from Michigan. I do like him. If we're looking for a guard. I'm not a huge Grayson Murphy guy. I just didn't like what I had to read there. Michael Barrett, linebacker. I like him. I see you, Roy. I see you up there. You're on this other screen over here. And then this is, Zach Zinter is my favorite right here. I do like Michael Barrett, linebacker from Michigan. And I do pick again at 163. And Michael Barrett would basically be replacing A.J. Klein, because we lost Tyrell Dodson. We lost A.J. Klein. Actually, Michael Barrett might be the Tyrell Dodson type of guy. How big is this boy? Yeah, 6 foot, 239. He's more of a Tyrell Dodson type. Stats. Slot next. Yeah. Okay. I like that profile. Played good against Nebraska, Indiana, Purdue, Iowa. Played pretty good against Ohio State, Maryland. Penn State played really good against Minnesota and Rutgers. Linebacker is not a glaring hole to me. Guard isn't either, but that would give us youth at guard. But Barrett would also give us youth at linebacker. So I'm caught in a bit of a pickle. And you know what? A lot of you guys keep telling me we ain't drafting no 10, 11 picks. Fine. Not, I'm using something to move up. I'm going from 163, and I'm giving up hopefully 248. to move up to 154. Hell yeah. Well, these guys are all in on that. Okay. I'm getting both my guys. I'm getting my linebacker and I'm getting my guard. From Michigan, Michael Barrett. And Zach Zinter. Boom. Filling all the needs, son. Let's go. Still need edge with our money and who is available. Hey, man, we're going to do another mock draft. We're just not going to take this much time next time. We're going to make it a little faster, right? Because this was a long-ass time. We're going to do another one. The WrestleMania show don't start till 5. I got 30 more minutes, damn it. You better believe. I ain't going nowhere yet. Let's go. We got one more pick at 200 as well, so maybe we'll find an edge rusher that you guys like. We got running back Cody Schrader on the board. Dejon Anthony, safety. Solomon Byrd, USC. I've heard about him. Heard some good things about him. Played well against Nevada, Stanford, Arizona. Played really good against Utah and UCLA. His bad games were Colorado, I think that's San Diego State, and Cardinals. Who the hell is that? I don't know. Can't think of it off the top of my head. No use breaking my mind over it. 6'3", 250. This guy right here might be it. Cody will finish his story. Isaac Guerrero. You mean Guerrero, I think is who you're talking about. From he went to Wisconsin and then he transferred to somewhere. I forget. I like Guerrero, but if speed is all he brings to the table, I can't use him. Louisville. There we go. Louisville. All right. So Solomon Byrd is there. MJ Devonshire at corner is a guy I like as well. Hunter Nerzad at center from Penn State. I like him as a late round pick. Guy you can stash on a practice squad maybe. Let's see. They got some young tackles from Louisiana. Nathan Thomas. I've heard a lot of good things about him. Frank Gore Jr. still here. Jace McClellan. This is a running back that I continuously run into in a lot of these mock drafts. I've taken him a few times. I really, really like him. 5'11", 212. I don't know if I have a 40 time on him. Running back. 40-yard dash. Running back. What do you got, Jace? Yeah, I don't see him on the list. I keep running into him. He had a solid senior year or last year, and he's nice. He's like played 13 games, freaking 888 yards on 181 carries for 4.9 per carry. Like, I really like him later in the draft. I really do like him quite a bit. Joshua Cephas is the guy I was talking about earlier from University of Texas San Antonio. Not UTEP, but UTSA. 6'3", 185. Okay, never mind. For some reason, I remember him being heavier than that. Tanner Bartolini being here is also a surprise. Center from Wisconsin. So maybe a Project OT. He breaks tackles a lot. He does, but not as much as the Braylon Allen kid. Plus, we have now James Cook. We have Ty Johnson. We have Braylon Allen. We have Darrington Evans still on the roster right now. It's possible we take another running back. I'm not saying we don't right here. I'm just looking at all the prospects, the ones that I like. Tanner Bartolini is one of the guys I really do like. Only had a couple of rough games. Nebraska, Illinois, Ohio State, Purdue. Yeah. Let's see. Caden Wallace, Penn State. 6'5", 341. Whoa, that's a big tackle. Could be something that we look at with Spencer Brown potentially leaving after this year. See where Collins said maybe a Project OT. How much do you believe Bean when he says they scouted McGovern as a center? He played center in college, so it makes sense. Edwards has a Super Bowl as a starting left guard. Is it possible we are better? It's possible that we're better. This is a question I'm answering here. It's very possible that we're better. Is there a guarantee? Absolutely not. So I don't want to deny his claims, and I also don't want to confirm them without knowing, right? So I think that we're fine there. I definitely know that McGovern has wanted to return to center, and if that's what he wants, then I'm glad that he's getting what he wants. I just hope that he's good at it. But we'll see. Wisconsin puts out good O linemen. I take Bartolini in a lot of my mocks. I do too usually. I usually take him a lot. Question is, if I take a guard earlier, am I also taking a center? The answer to that is I don't know. I also like Hunter Nurzad from Penn State. Hunter Nurzad, center, 6'3", 315. Yeah, no. I think Bartolini was more consistent. This guy's got a lot more better games, but he's got a lot more. Well, he's got at least one more trash game. No, he was pretty consistent. Okay. Maybe just seeing that red threw me off. I'm going with the center from Penn State, Hunter Nurzad. My brain's just saying that guy. And I want to get one more of these mocks in, so here we go. So now that we know that we put this thing to spin, my man Spin comes in. Is the show early? Yeah, the show was early, man. You might want to skip it and then go back. It came on at 3 because WrestleMania. And I know Bills fans, we don't put each other through tables for no damn reason. We're wrestling fans. We love WWE, right? And so, yeah, the show is very, very, very early. Usually comes on at 7. Today I did it at 3. Everybody can enjoy their WrestleManias. And that's what's up. We brought in Cap and Collins for the line. That's true. That's true. And that's why we're doing more than one mock. We're going one more time. One more again. Let's go. Let's take a look at the grades we got here, though. Draft Mike Center still higher draft board. I don't give a damn. Tyler Newman, Xavier Legette, Leonard Taylor III, Braylon Allen, Masan Smith, Michael Barrett, Zach Zinter, Hunter Nurzad. So I took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players. Look at that. Roy, you're a genius. If I want to go through tables, I can just go to a Bills tailgate and get to watch a Bills game on top of that. I agree with you, but the Bills fans got it from somewhere. So I decided to move my show to 3 just for today because I know that Bills fans love WWE. I know we do. I'm a Bills fan, and I loved it more as a kid, and now it seems to be getting better than it has been for the last 15, 20 years. So I'm giving it a shot again to entertain me, but we'll see. But I know for a fact that Bills fans love WWE. All right, I'm going to send this one. Let's see. I'll go to Facebook. And Built in Buffalo. And I'm going to see if I can't share this right there on the link to our video that we're watching, that you guys are watching right now on our Facebook page. Well, that's about to upset me. Nope. Okay. I'm just going to save it. Save image as. April 7, first mock. And I will post it on our Built-in Buffalo Facebook page. So if you're not, be a member. NWO for life. All right, returning back. We're starting a new mock draft. Here we go. All right. So last one, all the wide receivers were gone before we got to 28. I was contemplating moving to 23. Did not move to 23. This time, if any of those guys are still there at 23, I'm probably moving up. Okay? It is what it is. Settings, let's make sure our speed is correct. Boom. That's way too fast. And we are going to take it to pick 8. Marvin Harrison, Roma Dunze, Jaden Daniels. So if the Titans do not take Malik Neighbors here, might try and trade up with Atlanta. Malik Neighbors goes to the Titans. Okay. Fair play, guys. Couldn't pass on him, so yeah. All right, so this right here, the Eagles, is most likely where Brian Thomas Jr. goes if he hasn't gone already, and he has not. The idea of maybe being going last year in the first 2 picks, like McConkey and Mitchell. Since the Diggs trade, I've been thinking of the idea of maybe Bean going wide receiver the first 2 picks, like a McConkey or Mitchell or Franklin, followed up by Leggett in the second. I wouldn't be against that, but I also think that would limit the amount of guys we can get to compete for other positions. Yes, he did. He went before Neighbors. I think he should go before Neighbors, honestly. I see Eagles going defense in the first. If Brian Thomas Jr. is there, they're going there. They're having some contractual issues with A.J. Brown. But I'm willing to wait one more pick. Because for me, the replacement for Stefon Diggs, if you're looking for a 1-to-1 replacement, is Ladd McConkey. Except Ladd McConkey's faster outside of that. and Diggs has got better footwork. But otherwise, the style of play, the way that they beat you, they usually beat you at the line, get past you, and then make you keep up. I think that the Bills going after McConkey makes perfect sense if they want a one-for-one replacement to Stefon Diggs. I want you to understand everything I said there because every single word I said in that statement is important to the meaning behind the statement. If the Buffalo Bills want a one-for-one replacement in this year's draft for Stefon Diggs, the man that most compares to Stefon Diggs is Ladd McConkey. Runs excellent routes with good footwork, off the line, beating you, making you think he's going to be one place, and he's somewhere totally different. The man damn near teleports, right? That's what Stefon Diggs is. Now, I'm seeing Walter S. say, I just don't see it with McConkey. You better go back and watch some film. He plays inside and out, beats you with footwork off the line, like Stefon Diggs, except he runs a 4.33 or 4.31. Oh, no, 4.39, excuse me, 4.39. Diggs ran a 4.56, if I'm right. McConkey is, if you want a 1-for-1 replacement as a rookie for Stefon Diggs, it's McConkey. This is exactly what I'm saying right here. Before Diggs was traded, I was not for drafting Ladd McConkey. I was no. Why would we do that? Like, it's the same thing as Diggs, except younger and faster. Like, why would I do that? But now that he's gone, that makes total sense. Why are we trying to replace Diggs with the same skill set? Diggs is not a true one. His talent elevated him to a one. And McConkey's with two, in my opinion, too. This is why I'm saying McConkey. If you wanted a one-for-one, what is it about Diggs' skill set or talent that we don't like? We love everything about it. We don't like his freaking mouth, right? Diggs is like the Donald Trump of wide receivers, right? Like, people just hate when they see him on social media. Like, what the hell are you? Shut up. Like, that's what he is. I don't mean to get political here, but the biggest complaint about the guy is he just says the most reckless shit you can say. And that's exactly what I mean by that. Every single thing I say is very selective in particular, so don't take me for a political person. But this is the complaint right here. Well, shut up. McConkey wasn't the guy on Georgia's team. You're right. They had Travis Kelce. They had Brock Bowers. So why would he be the guy? If Diggs went to freaking KC, he wouldn't be the guy there either. But McConkey still found a way to eat. That's just the way it is. Diggs is not a vertical wide receiver. He can run vertical routes, but that's not his strength. We have Allen, one of the strongest arms in the NFL. Why can't Bills find wide receivers that can stretch the field? Because they're not that common. What are you going to get Xavier Worthy so he can get bumped on the line every single time and not get deep? McConkey can get deep. He can get deep. If you're 1-for-1 for Stefon Diggs, and that's what you want, if you want that same skill set, it's Ladd McConkey. It's the same skill set. McConkey is a true route runner, but he's not that speedy guy that can threaten deep. He ran a 4.39. Of course he can threaten deep. He's got a faster 40 time than Lee Evans. Diggs isn't as fast as McConkey. McConkey's way faster than Diggs. Think of how we use Diggs. Motion out of the backfield in the slot. One spread he took over, he was moved all over. That's Samuels. I agree. That's actually a very good point. However, he's always been known for doing that with more than one guy. Like when he was in Carolina, he did it with DJ Moore, and he did it with Robbie Anderson and Curtis Samuel and Greg Olsen. And when he was at LSU, when he did it with Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, like he's always been that guy to move guys around a lot. Worthy is a slot wide receiver. No, he's not. No, he's not. He can play in the slot, but he's not slot only. In the NFL, he might be slot only. So if that's what you mean in the NFL, yes, but in college, he was not slot only. That's why we move up and get Thomas. Well, Thomas is on the board. You know what, David Highland? I'm going to tell you like I told the other guys earlier. I'm not that big on Brian Thomas Jr. In college, he did not have the route tree that intrigued me at all. He just wasn't that guy for me. Just wasn't that guy for me. Watching him play, very impressive. Watching him run routes, kind of painful. I've watched McConkey's film. He's a reliable receiver with good hands, but he's not my choice in round one. Look, before they traded Diggs, he was not mine either. He's not my first pick in round one either way. But again, this is a very specific situation. If your decision is to go find another Diggs, then it's McConkey. He's the only guy in this draft. Like Xavier Legette is more like a Des Bryant, right? Or an Amari Cooper. If you're going for a Brian Thomas Jr., he is a very, very raw Des Bryant. I don't know if the Bills want to take a year to train this guy up to then be that guy and not have a reliable guy, right? I think that what they're looking for is the guy who's reliable to be there. McConkey said he creates separation out of the break with his route running, so he can't be that bad of a – no, he's an excellent route runner. He's an excellent route runner. McConkey would kick ass in KC. I think he'd kick ass here. If you look at the wide receivers that Josh Allen has succeeded with the most, McConkey fits that profile better than anybody. Cole Beasley, Stefon Diggs. The only one that's outside of that is freaking John Brown. Bills aren't looking for another Diggs. They have Samuels and Shakir. I don't know if I could say that Samuels is like Diggs. Samuels is a very short to intermediate guy with very good speed. He used to play running back. Diggs was never that. Shakir, I can see it, though. McConkey is one of the best route runners in this draft. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to trade with Minnesota, I think. Yep, Minnesota. Boom. I'm going to trade Minnesota. I'm going to go get pick 23. Well, you know what? I'm going to offer them something for pick 23. 28. I ain't doing that much. 133, 144, 160. Okay. Offer that same thing to the Eagles for 22, 56%. Yeah. No. I see you, Roy. Pearsall over McConkey for me, and I don't want him in the first either. I don't know how you have Pearsall or McConkey. He's slot only. Like in the NFL, he's slot only. He's not. He's played a little bit on the outside in Florida, but he is a slot guy. I like Pearsall a lot, though. In the second round, I absolutely love Pearsall. I absolutely love him. What about Franklin and Mitchell? I love Adonai Mitchell. He's my guy. Franklin, if you're saying looks like Deshaun Jackson, I don't think so. He's not near as fast. He's good at the go ball, but I need more than the go ball for my first round wide receiver. There's a reason why Deshaun Jackson went in the second round. And it's the exact same reason why Troy Franklin should go in the second round. I don't see the speed, though. However, I do say this. It is said that Troy Franklin at the combine was with the flu. And so there's that. Go after Legette for the vertical threat. Both need route running tuning. I agree with that they both need route running tuning. I think that Legette is a better route runner than Thomas Jr. In fact, I know that Xavier Legette is a better route runner than Thomas Jr. But Thomas Jr. physically is more of a freak. And so that is the part. So start giving me some names, guys, to draft. I'm going to listen to some votes here. I'm going to offer this trade to the Eagles, and we'll see who's on the board there. I'd rather take Legette than trade up for BTJ. So there's this trade here. There's this trade here. And then, hang on a tick. I go to the commies. Where you at, commies? I could trade back. Get 28, 36, and 40. Give him a second-round pick next year. They're really liking that. Whew, okay. Or we could do something like this, where we give our round 2 next year and trade back from 28, get 36, 40, and 152, and give up the 200th pick. Well, Roy, I know who I want. The question is, what are you guys thinking? Because I know the last time I did this mock draft, McConkey and A.D. Mitchell and Brian Thomas all went to Philadelphia. They went to Dallas, and they went to Arizona. So I was left without my wide receiver at 28. I had to trade back. You know what? I'm trading up. There we go. I'm going to try. I'm going to offer him what I think it's worth. Not accepted. I'll throw 248 on it to give you a little mustard. Boom. On the clock. Where are my wide receivers? We're doing it. Brian Thomas Jr., Adonai Mitchell, Lad McConkey, 28, 31, 33. Who we taking? Who we taking? I don't hear nothing else. I gave up a 5th-round pick to move up. Who are we taking? I see BTJ. I need more than one vote. Let's go. I think it's very debatable. I like Adonai Mitchell more than I like him. And it's not close. Adonai Mitchell can run all the routes, catches the touchdown in every single game he played. Is a bit of a body catcher at times, but has a very, very good catch radius, a better catch radius than Brian Thomas. A.D. Mitchell would be my guy, but I'm looking at this. I'm seeing Thomas Jr., reigns over Cody. That's who I'm taking. You son of a bitch. I would have rather stayed and drafted Leggett. Leggett wasn't going to be there if I stayed. If I stayed at 28, I could have drafted him at 28, but no. I don't see him as a first-round pick. I know some other people do. I don't. All right, I'm seeing BTJ. I'm going BTJ. See, Mitchell gives up on his routes if he's not getting the ball. That's not a Bills fit. Joshua Richardson, while I don't like what you're saying, it's true. If he knows the ball's not coming to him, he gives up on his route, and that gives up the entire offensive play. The Bills may have to train him up, but he's a physical freak. I don't hate Brian Thomas Jr. I don't want anybody to think I hate him. I just don't have enough information on him to be like, you have to pick him. Thomas is the kind of player every offense wants for their vertical passing game plans. As a former football and basketball star in high school, he is big at 6'4", 205, tall, fast. It's Brian Thomas Jr. Boom. Here we go. Allergies kicked my butt. Took my allergy medicine. Now I'm having to swallow the nasty. All right. Pick 60. Best player on the board. Rook Ororo. Ororo. I actually like Rukaroro a lot for the Bills. I think that he's a guy that can be drafted and groomed into a player that can actually fill out and become a one tech later on, if need be. But at 6'4", 295, with his frame, yeah. Actually, no, never mind. Aurora weighed just 265 as an edge rusher, and now he joined the Tigers. So he has inside-outside defensive line flex. On rundowns, he can play on the outside, and pass downs on the inside. I like him. Marshawn Nealand as an edge rusher, I really like. Marshawn Nealand, Western Michigan. I also really like Jalen McMillan, wide receiver from Washington, even though he got hurt this past year. I do like him quite a bit. Braylon Trice, edge rusher from Washington, is who I think we should take here. I really like this tape. I like his size. Man is 274, 6'4". He's from Phoenix, so he might not like the weather that much. But man, Trice is a disruption is production kind of player. I love havoc. Let's wreak some freaking havoc. Braylon Trice would be my guy here. If he's there at 60, I run to the podium. That's just me. Christian Haynes is another really good guy if you're looking to get another interior offensive lineman. But I think we've addressed that. But we've also addressed defensive tackle, defensive end. Like we've hedged our bets. We've hedged our bets. So Ruko Rororo or Braylon Trice would be my guys here. Oh, Tavondre Sweat is also here. See, Nealon's another guy like Rousseau that'll play the run well but doesn't get the QB. We need somebody nasty coming off the edge. That's why I like Braylon Trice more. Yo, Izzy, I know you're from the AFC East Roundtable, digging the stream, homie. I appreciate it, Mario. I'm on there every Wednesday with those guys. I'm one of their Patreon members. I try not to be too big and boisterous, but every now and then TD gets out of line, and I got to put him in his place like this past week. So if you saw this past Wednesdays, check out the Patreon stuff and give those guys a like. I love those guys. But yeah, I'm on there every Wednesday towards the end of the show in their Patreon. And I had a school TD this week, and I gave him the business. So for me, it's Trice here. Tavondre Sweat is also on the board, though. Just so everybody knows, the three guys for me are Braylon Trice, Tavondre Sweat, it's basically Braylon Trice or Tavondre Sweat. Nealand was a 30 visit. I understand, but we can't get all the 30 visits. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can get some of them. We can't get all of them. Mario Bobo. Yeah, TD is something else. Good times. Yes, sir. Yeah. How about a punter? You better stop it, spin right now. I ain't got time for your shit. All right. I'm going Tavondre Sweat stock dropping with the arrest. Ooh, never mind. Cool. Bam, done. We're going Trice. Braylon Trice. Joshua, I got your comment just a smidge too late. Just like as soon as I clicked it, your comment came in. Let's see who's on the board at 128. Yeah, that's the first I heard of it too. I think the Bills do trade up. I do. One sec. Oh, I forgot to plug in this stupid laptop. Hopefully it just went to sleep. Nope. Sure didn't. Yo, that's horrible, man. That's horrible. Jesus Christ. Y'all are terrible for that. I just want you to know that you guys are absolutely terrible for that. Please still have the window open. Oh, you're about to make me mad. Okay, let's see. I think I got it back. I'm basically just gonna make the same moves I made because it's gone. Boop. Share. Start draft. I'm just gonna do this as quick as I can, guys. Breaking news: Cody left crying after not finishing the story. Ha ha ha. All right, 23, 28, 144. And we took Brian Thomas Jr. And then we wait. Okay. Put this back in. Basically just made the same moves. Share screen. Simulator. Share. And boom. There we go. We're going to finish this damn mock draft. Lost Stefon Diggs, Gabe Davis, and Mitch Morrison. Got Mitch Trubisky. Dude, we got more than that. Come on now. If he's here, I'm just taking him. Braylon Trice. Boom. All right, so we got Brian Thomas Jr. and Braylon Trice like we had before. I forgot to plug my computer in here, my second computer. And it didn't warn me before. No 10%, none of that crap. Just, it's going to die now by the time I got up to go get the thing. That was a wrap. All right, 128. Come on now. We got to get through this fast so we can hurry up. I like him as well. Jamari Thrash looks good too. Jamari Thrash. I've heard a bit about Jamari Thrash. Have not looked into him, but I will be looking into him soon because I know that the draft is coming. All right. So, next guy's on the board. Tyke Smith, who I like out of Georgia. I really like him. Safety. Remember, we could use some safeties. Let me go ahead and look at safety real quick. Tyke Smith, Bo Braid, Malik Mustafa, James Williams. Safety is actually a spot I would look to double dip as well, maybe at pick 160 as well. Get Tyke Smith now, then draft 130 and then 160 or 163, come back and get James Williams. That's an option. Leonard Taylor III is still here as well. That's a tough decision. Could always try and move up. We have a bunch of picks. Why the hell not? So what we'll do here is I think this is move up spot. Maybe. Let's see. Yeah, this is definitely move up territory for me. No, it's not. Hang on, what the hell am I talking about? Well, if I take him, then this guy's coming off the board like next, probably. Yeah, he's coming off the board next. So I want to get to 129. I send him 128. Oh no. 133. 248. Draft player, and I'm getting Tyke Smith, and I'm getting Leonard Taylor. Getting my guys. God damn it. Spin, I'm double dipping later because I know what wide receiver I want. Hopefully he's still there. And he's still there. There he is. Luke McCaffrey. 6'2", 145. Pulling up his draft profile right now because PFF doesn't have any information because they suck right now. I don't think Malik Washington was a better option, in my opinion. Not with what we have on the team currently. 4.46. So McCaffrey's faster, better pedigree. I mean, I'm going to get him side by side. I was more in love with Malik Washington earlier in the draft process. Malik Washington. Malik's also shorter, too. I know that for sure. I think it's 5'9", 5'10". He might be 5'8". Let's see. 5'8" and a half, 191. So he's a bowling ball. 4.47. Broad jump was a little bit better. Didn't run a 3-cone or a 20-yard. But McCaffrey did everything. 6.7 3-cone, 402, 20-yard shuttle. He didn't do the bench. Never mind. He didn't do everything. 10-1 broad jump. 36-inch vertical. Malik Washington's vertical is 36. So they're basically, hang on, what the? Closing that. Okay. Got lost in the shuffle here. Malik Washington, 42.5 broad. Still like McCaffrey better as a receiver. Luke was a QB for 3 years and transitioned to wide receiver for his last 2 years of college. I'm fine with that. What that does is that gives him the understanding of what his quarterback is seeing. Drafting for the name, Izzy. You are correct. Just like Christian was kind of drafted for the name. He was Ed McCaffrey's boy, playing running back. All of a sudden, goes in the NFL, plays well. And I'm drafting in the 5th round for name. I'm not drafting in the 2nd round for name. This is the 5th round. I mean, I could pick somebody else right now and wait till 163, but he's the best wide receiver on the board right now. Who else is on the board? Let's see. QB Austin Reed, Michael Barrett, J.D. Bertrand, Bo Braid, Malik Mustafa. I mean, I could draft one of these other guys. Drake Nugent, center from Michigan. If he was a quarterback, he knows zone, he knows man-to-man, and he also knows where to sit down in holes. Yes. Roy, I just like getting you all worked up. Roy, you are better at that than anybody in my streams. I just want you to know that. I like Braid and Mustafa. I also like Braid and Mustafa. I think that one of those two will be there. I'm not positive the wide receiver will, because for some reason in these drafts, the wide receivers just go. They just seem to go. So if I personally, I like Mustafa better than I like Braid, if I'm being honest. Spin. You're already second, okay? You're already second. Cut it out. You already had me curse at you earlier. All right, so I'm going to go with Mustafa. And now I'm taking my wide receiver. And because of that, I might even triple dip at wide receiver. Is it you motivated me to try and beat number 1? Oh, Jesus. Okay. So from James Madison University, Jalen Green, defensive end. Like his numbers. What's his size looking like? 6'1", 245. Very Jerry Hughes-ish. Very, very Jerry Hughes-ish. Green comes in a compact build that limits where you can play him as an edge rusher, but he's a feisty player who consistently plays with good natural leverage. You don't want to make a living betting on size outliers, but pending recovery from knee surgery, he can be a good depth player. And at this point, that's what we're looking for is depth. We're not looking for any starters. Marcus Harris from Auburn. Always got to look at the SEC boys. 6'3", 295, defensive tackle. Would be somebody I'm interested in looking at. Steel Chambers. I just like his name. That name sounds hard as hell. Love that name. Steel Chambers. Let's go. Let's go. Okay. Zion Logue. Defensive line, Georgia. 6'5", 310. So he could be a 3 or a 1 tech depending on his playing weight in the NFL. No, I'm going with the edge rusher. No, not linebacker. It is Steel Chambers. Let's go, bitch. Oh, look at that. Edge rusher still here. Center, safety. I wonder if that boy from Holy Cross is still here. I don't think I've ever seen him in the simulator. He's not in the simulator. Well, I guess now I have to take the edge rusher. Boom. Jalen Green coming off the board. I did draft a porn star, Malik Mustafa. I bet Steel Chambers' front door is green. Yo, shut up, man. That's crazy. All right. Analyzing your draft. All right. Brian Thomas Jr. was an A pick. Brandon Trice, a C pick. I don't see how that happened, but okay. Tyke Smith from Georgia, A. Leonard Williams III, A. Malik Mustafa, B+. Luke McCaffrey, C+. Man, F you. Steel Chambers, A-. Jalen Green, B+. All right. Overall draft grade was at B+. I'll be putting both of these in the comments on our video on BIB, Built in Buffalo Facebook page. But guys, it has been a blast, and the show must not go on anymore. I hate you, Spin. I hate you. I love you, but I hate you. But guys, this is my show. I have been on here for 2.5 hours almost. It's like two and a third, but you get it. Anyways, guys, the show came on early. It went longer than usual, and guys, there's been 322 guys on the show. Please hit that like, share, subscribe. Check out all the Built-in Buffalo content. Check out my guys at the round table too. I love those guys. But guys, much love and go Bills. We are out of here.